My name is Nicole Moore with So Much More. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to make the Drunkard's Path quilt block using the Accuquilt Go cutting system. While you're watching, if you see something that you like, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can get your fabrics, notions, and Accuquilt information along with detailed tips and tricks on my website. I've provided a link in the description of this video. Making a Drunkard's Path quilt block looks more difficult than it really is. Let me show you how simple these are to make, especially when using the Accuquilt cutting system. For this video tutorial, I am using the Go Accuquilt cutter, the 7-inch Drunkard Path die, and the 10 by 24 inch mat. I cut my fabric to fit the die pieces. I'm also stacking several layers as well. You can see that my mat has been used for other dies. You can get a lot of uses out of a single mat. Once you run your die through the cutter, simply remove the mat and discard the bits of excess fabric. Sewing curves is easier than you might think. Simply align the notches that the Accuquilt cutter made in your fabric and start pinning. You can begin by aligning and pinning the center notches. I like to align each edge as well and pin along the way. Sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance along the curved edge. When sewing the curved edge, it is important to take your time. You shouldn't need to stretch your fabric. Just make adjustments along the way. And I like to use a sewing stiletto. It really helps me to keep the fabric where I want it to be. Now that our curve is sewn together, we can press our seam to the darkest fabric. For this tutorial, I have made 4 Drunkard's Path units. Each unit is pressed towards the darkest fabric to help the seams nest. When joining the blocks together, it's important to nest the seams. I like to pin on each side of the seam nest, and we'll be sewing a 1/4 inch seam. If it helps you, I recommend making a sewing line to keep your measurements accurate. Once that seam is in place, we'll press the seam to the darkest fabric. We'll repeat that step for the other block sets. For the final seam, we will align the middle seam nest and pin on each side. And we'll do the same for both seam nests on either end as well. I add a few more pins to keep the fabric in place and make a sewing line to ensure accurate seam allowance. That's always a great idea. We can press the final seam open. I think this block set turned out really great. I just love making these quilt blocks. What do you think? Are you ready to make your own? Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video tutorial, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you sign up for notifications, you will be the first to know about my next video. If you want more DIY, go to the link in the description and sign up for my weekly newsletter. Each week I send inspiration directly to your inbox. For more tutorials, head over to my website and Facebook group, where there's always so much more in store.